Hey guys, May 3rd, 2026, as if it's May already. I'm at the South March BESS site and I'm doing my evening walk. It's been a crazy weekend. So many of you guys know that I'm a first generation young farmer and I'm local, and we pride ourselves on hiring local teams and university students to help around the farm. So one thing that we did this weekend this week in general, is we provided summer money for work to 5 young residents of the area, which is super awesome. We love supporting local. So that ties into one thing that I wanted to bring into the conversation. I'm actually going to face the BESS site here, so you can see it in the background. So one thing that I wanted to bring into the conversation recently is that Evolugen, Brookfield Renewables, whoever they state they are again, states that they are actually hiring tons and tons and tons of local people. So as many of you know, I've been following this site quite closely since they started construction, which I also will talk about a bit later. So please stay on this full video because I do have some important information that I'm going to share later. But Evolugen, Brookfield, they state that they hire tons of local people. That is one of their key selling points to this project. However, I've been following this project since they started putting a shovel in the ground, even though the city of Ottawa stated that they would not allow a shovel in the ground until the project is approved, which it is not approved, key point. But when I talked to all these workers and everything, there was not, so there might be one, but I realized I never asked him. There typically wasn't one worker that I've spoken to since they started construction they started cutting trees in March. And there has not been one local person that I have spoken to, which is really interesting because they pride themselves on hiring local and everything. And I have not talked to one local person. And so that is really interesting. That our farm, a 26-acre farm, small working farm, is hiring more local people than potentially this $650 million project by Brookfield. Interesting. Surprising, no, but interesting because we are always trying to stay on top of their marketing schemes and proving them wrong. So this possibly could be a very easy thing to prove wrong, right? I mean, I've talked to most people, a lot of people at least, on this site in my walks and everything. And again, not one, other than one guy from Ken White Construction that I met. But I did not actually ask where he's from. So he may actually be from local, which I wouldn't be surprised. So yeah, that's really interesting. But one thing that I did want to bring up to you guys is I've had some feedback around people saying, well, the construction's going, like this thing must be going in. That's not true. That is not true. This site is actually in the courts right now. It is before the courts. And that's why we're pushing so hard, like the WCCA is pushing so hard for the GoFundMe for getting funds in, because this is actually a legal case. And for whatever reason, Brookfield Evolugen, whether we think that they're cocky or there's actually there's a backdoor agenda that this is going to go in no matter what, we don't know, but they're pushing ahead. They're plowing through without actually having approvals. Now, I think we have a great case because I've been seeing some really interesting things happening, especially one this weekend where Evolugen, Brookfield, whatever, on their website, they always had a South March BESS page. That's been deleted, I think, as early as this weekend or later last week. I can no longer access that. It says page not found. This indicates to me, in my novice opinion with legal stuff, that their lawyers possibly might be getting them to clean up their act a bit, right? They've made a page, they basically own this project since day one, and now all of a sudden that page is not to be found anymore. It's not on their project page anymore. You can't locate it at all other than through the Get Charged Ottawa, which is a totally different website. But they completely took that project off. So basically, from my understanding, I just want to make sure I didn't stop that here. Perfect. And you're not looking at my eyeball? Perfect. Sorry guys, not a YouTube star, as I've always said. So from my understanding, court case is around not having meaningful consultation, not having a fair vote, all that fun stuff. And again, WCCA can't clarify all this, but if they're going for, like, if the community is saying that there's not fair consultation, there wasn't a fair vote, and that things were not fairly done, it makes sense why Brookfield would be cleaning up their websites and everything, and, you know, not making sure that they have no claims to this project at all, like no foundation, no like concrete assurance that this is their project. So that is a really interesting point that I came across actually this evening. I was Googling about the local employees and stuff and getting some research done on that before I made this video. But then this page thing popped up and I thought it was actually really fitting. So with that, I want to say that, yeah, there is a ton of work going on. I'm going to just switch it off of me. Tons of work. I want to say that a lot of people have stated, oh, I haven't seen your face in a while. If only I got so excited to see my face on video. But I want to assure everyone that lots of footage has been taken. We do have lots of evidence, videos, and photos of things last week. I am just a busy person, and I am not a YouTube star, and I never want to be a YouTube star, but here I am doing all this stuff. So it takes time to put up these videos and everything, and I just haven't had the capacity this week. However, I want to assure you I have taken tons and tons and tons of footage and photos and everything on my walks and everything. So I just want to make sure that everyone knows that I am still here, I am still well, I am still alive, probably to Brookfield's dismay, but that's just my personal opinion again, guys, sorry. But I just want to make sure that everyone knows I am still here. But yeah, that's tonight. You will notice I did do some footage last week. All these trees are gone. And again, I will do an update hopefully on that soon. I have a little bit more time this week hopefully to work on my YouTube stardom, and I will update you guys on that. But we do have lots of information or interesting finds on that, so stay tuned. I hope everyone had a great weekend. We do have some rain coming this week, which is wonderful. Ground is still very dry. If you dig down, there's lots of dry soil under there. However, you can see that there is a lot of green flush coming out. So all the grasses are coming up, pastures getting rich. Unfortunately, this will be probably the first year in, well, again, I'm gonna guess this has been farmed for the last 200 years. So this will be the first year probably that these fields will not be used for agricultural use, which is a great loss. So again, please make sure that you spread the word that this fight is not over. It is before the courts. And please, again, GoFundMe page, I'll post below. It is available. If you have a few dollars, please throw them into the bin, okay? Well, have a good night, guys, and we'll chat with you tomorrow.